The problem we have in our country today is the fact that animals are adapting to our environment. Now, when animals adapt to our environment, which they're doing, they get under our porches, they get in our attics. Kids go out and sometimes pick them up.
My daughter actually found an injured raccoon. It had been hit by a car. It was a little baby raccoon. I grew up thinking that if you found an injured animal, you just carried it to a nature center, or that you could carry it to a veterinarian just like you did any other animal, and found no one that would take this animal. And so I felt helpless, and I found that there were no veterinary hospitals for wildlife.
In fact, the only place that does treat critically ill wildlife is the University of Georgia's College of Veterinary Medicine.
So this is like an analgesic and a sedative.
Dr. Stephen Hernandez-Divers and Dr. Christine Fiorello are associate professors at the college. They are two of only 4 specialists in Georgia qualified to treat critically injured wildlife. On this day, we found them working on a juvenile bald eagle brought in from Savannah.
We suspect he may have been shot or in some way injured, and a local Good Samaritan, as we call them, found the bird in their yard and took it to a local veterinary practice. It was there for a few days, but it needs some more specialized treatment, so they brought it to us. What we're doing is we have to repeatedly do dressing changes and bandage changes and wound cleaning over each day, over probably a week or 2. In addition to having this treatment, the bird's also going to have some physical therapy. When it's anesthetized like this, we'll be stretching both its wings out to make sure it keeps both, full function of its wings. In dealing with a referral hospital, it's very difficult sometimes to let the students actually do some of the procedures because animals are being referred here for specialized care, and so they want the specialist to be doing the treatments. Whereas when we're dealing with wildlife, it's very easy to get the students to do a lot of these treatments. You can see that these cases are very manpower intensive, There's a team of 3 wildlife treatments that have to deal with the bird every day, feeding, and then it usually takes a team of 4 or 5 people to do the treatment, so it's pretty intensive. There's not a lot of funding for this. The university or the College of Vet Medicine funds $3,000 a year, but there are times when we run out of money and we literally have to turn animals away, and so that's obviously a tragedy, but there's not really what anyone can do about that. So we're trying to go through this fundraising to try and generate enough money to build a dedicated wildlife hospital.
The University of Georgia College of Veterinary Medicine will provide the veterinarians for the hospital. We're raising $3.5 million to construct an 11,000 square foot facility.
The donation to GROW will be approximately a 5-acre site. We're working with them to create the site plan. You don't have just the GROW Center sitting out by itself taking care of animals. Nobody knows what they're doing. I think the link with the Nature Center is an amazing one, where thousands and thousands of kids can start to learn what happens, how they're cared for, and the good things that are being done. And the fact that we can unite those two within the core of Friendship Village, which has a big environmental focus to it and a big educational focus to it, is just an amazing fit for us.
Not only is it going to help Cochrane Mill Nature Center, but it's going to help other rehabilitation centers. It's going to help individual rehabilitators. There are individuals who do this out of their house at their own cost.
This will be a major magnet and attraction for scientists and researchers and others who are vitally interested in this, where we don't have any place now.
It's basically like a mini University of Georgia College of Veterinary Medicine as far as how it will be equipped. That is, it specializes for wildlife medicine, and it will be a resident program that they'll be on a 3-year track. They will work at the facility for GROW, and these will only be critical injured animals. We'll even deal with the nuisance issue, where right now animal control and animal trappers trap animals that are healthy animals just simply because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, with rabies vectored species, which are the raccoon, the fox, the bobcat, the skunk, the coyotes, animal control most of the time will euthanize those animals. The good thing about GROW is that if they do show the rabies virus, they will be euthanized, but they will be used for research with the veterinary students. But in turn, the animals, once we get them past the critical stage, will be passed on to the different wildlife rehabilitators in the state. And we do intend to provide training.
The idea is an ingenious idea of them doing this facility first and then sending them out to rehabbers. There are rehabbers that can take these animals when they're medically fit to put them back out in the wild.
Because of our limited ability to have medical care for these animals, we know they're animals that we lose because we just can't get there fast enough, or there may not be the knowledge that's needed to help them. So to have veterinarians that are specializing in wildlife care will just be a huge asset to us, and of course to the animals that we bring in and to the public. We have many people who come in here literally crying because I found this animal, it's hurt, please save it. So there's going to be a better chance of that happening once GROW gets here.
If people just knew more information and had a resource to get that information, they would be much better stewards. Everybody heartfelt cares for wildlife, but they don't know how to care properly. And I think that's at the core of the mission of GROW.
We care about the fact that we're clear-cutting rainforests in South America. We care that animals are dying in Africa or animals that are dying in Asia. But in Georgia, we don't seem to care that we're clear-cutting or that we're destroying habitats in Georgia and that we're killing animals needlessly.
We don't want to separate them totally and have people here and wildlife here. We'd like to create communities that interlink the two together, where people can learn about wildlife, but the wildlife are not negatively impacted and forced into tiny little corridors or forced out of their habitat.
So if we don't care about them, we don't care about each other. You know, if you're going to go out and kill a snake just because it's in your yard, why are you going to care about anybody else?
If you look at what happens, we have no trees, and you have no water, which is Georgia's going through right now. You have no clean air, then you have loss of wildlife. And then what do you have after that? You have loss of human life.
I've been very, very proud to be able to go to work here in Congress and get some money and seed money to get this moving, and we'll continue to do so. But the more that the community can help, the more that we in Congress can help to preserve our animals and our wildlife with GROW.